Imagine being able to pull back the curtain and find out exactly what somebody did to be able to build their sales force to the billions, but also juggling motherhood. Well, I have a treat for you because I'm interviewing one of my mentors, Sarah Robbins. If you don't know her, she's known as Sarah Rockin' Robbins. She wrote one of the very first books on network marketing through social media, and she has been able to build huge organizations in the direct sales space, and the principles apply to anything you're doing. So this is going to help you out a ton. Also wanted to remind you, we have our upcoming Content Boss Bootcamp. We have some free resources for you below this video, so definitely check that out. Hello, everyone. Kimberly Olson here, and I have Sarah Robbins with us. Welcome on, Sarah.
Hi, I'm so excited.
Hey, me too. I feel like it's like a little virtual reunion when we get a little time together. So we're going to bring everybody along for the ride as well. So welcome on, guys. If you're watching live with us or replay, tell us where you're tuning in below, but also let us know if you already know Sarah, if you've been following her for eons like I have. You're one of the first kind of just people out there that I saw when I got into network marketing that I was like, yes, like that's what I want to do. I want to build a brand and just have everything fluid with my network marketing business as well and all the things. So thank you for everything that you've done in this industry, Sarah, and we'll be sure to kind of share that story. So anyways, I'm excited to dig in. So welcome Sarah on in the comments, you guys. Hey, Ellis. So first off, Sarah, tell everybody a little bit about your journey in the direct sales space, like when you started, what that looked like, and what you did with that first company that you built with.
Okay, so I started with no network and no experience. So for those of you who are like, can I do something like this? The answer is yes. If a shy kindergarten teacher with no network in her 20s can do this, you can totally do this. And that's what I love. This is a simple business. It's scalable, it's smart, and it's not dependent on our personality and experience. It's really dependent on simple systems. So my story is how I got involved was I was teaching kindergarten. I lived in Motown, Motor City, Metro Detroit, back in the recession of 2008. Many schools were closing, homes were foreclosing. Although I was the most requested teacher in the building, teacher tenure trumped performance. So I was facing the loss of my job, and I decided to pursue extra streams of income. And that's what led me to my company. Now, fun fact, at the time, it wasn't indirect sales. It was actually a retail brand, and I was working for them in the
I didn't know that.
time. Yeah. And they were like, we want a model where we can reach more people, social selling like it's the way to be. So there I was freelancing for this company, supplementing my teaching income, right place, right time, when they said, we're going to be leaving retail, going into direct sales. Do you want to do this? So another fun fact about my story that not everybody knows is my mom was freelancing with me, and she's a successful, savvy serial entrepreneur. She always did everything she could to make money, but also be at home with her 3 girls. And so she was like, Sarah, I know stories of people who do these types of businesses. And these were her words verbatim. She goes, I know people who have gone on to become multimillionaires. She goes, we would be crazy not to do this. She said, we are doing this. Now, I'm a compliant child. So like firstborn, you listen to your mom.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I'm like, I would be crazy not to. My mom said to do it. I'm going to do it. And it was amazing. So that first year, I surpassed what I was making in teaching.
Wow.
Which was amazing. I remember there was one month, I think I tell about it in my book, but my income went from $3,800 to over $11,000 in 1 month. And I was like, is this real? Like, what's actually happening here? So I took a leave of absence, and I just never went back. I probably
a very long leave of absence.
probably owe somebody an explanation, but no, they've seen this story. Long story short, we went on to build a multi-billion-dollar sales team, and went on to change millions of lives, which is incredible, through this vehicle, which has been such a blessing to us.
That is wild. Like, drop some fire in the comments. And by the way, did you hear multi-billions? I heard you say that a few months ago, and I actually didn't know that. I knew you were top, a leader, and really a leader as far as like forging your own path in this industry. So pioneer, leader, and someone I really looked up to, and just grace and class and just high integrity, just all the things I really want to emulate as well. And I actually didn't know that you had built that big. And I don't think it's hard to really equate that for those of us out here, as we know the average person wants to make $500 a month, and I would love to know in the comments, are you guys the 5%ers, the 10%ers where you're like, no, I want to make not just a few $1,000s a month, but I want to make 5 figures a month, even more than that, like life-changing money. And maybe you want to walk away from a corporate job or be home with your kids. So I'd love to know in the comments where you guys are at with that. That's like very profound,
Well,
Do you ever
Carly, instead of this too, because like I think this is like really important to hear. I never intended to have big success in the business. My only goal was to replace my teaching income, which was $1,100. I made $1,100 every 2 weeks. That was my only goal. So literally it was like the rest surprised me.
Yeah.
That was where I was one of those people who said, I want to make an extra 500. I want to make an extra $1,000. And the beautiful thing about this business is it helps a lot of people to do
a lot. That. Yes, absolutely. And that's actually another thing that now that I've been like, what do they say, under the hood, I've been able to see what you're like inside working with you in a team, that you do such a good job of putting, and this is huge, you guys, because some leaders, they just don't do this. And it must be your teaching background, but you're really good at teaching leaders. And I'm in your leadership program, on your team, but you're really good at speaking to that person who they just want to make $500 to $1,000 a month, because we know you need that first before you get to the 5 figures. But also that is life-changing money for people. I mean, we know with the cost of living and things like that. And I think that's such a really great skill that you've developed in your tenure to be able to help everybody win, not just the leaders or people with influence. I hear that all the time. Well, I'm not you, Kimberly. And I'm, and I get it. It's true. I do have influence. And I'm also in the DMs connecting and doing all the things to grow my business as well. So it applies to all of us. And I love that so much. So thank you for mentioning that. So you come in and you just sort of have this like sort of massive success, and you're growing and growing and growing. Life is good. You've impacted millions of people. Take us back to last summer when things shifted for you, because, there's roadblocks, there's obstacles, there's personal health challenges. We're both moms, raising families. There's life. We get things thrown at us, and you have a really strong faith that I do as well. I'm inspired by your faith, but life threw you a big curveball. Can you share with us not only what happened, what you're willing to share, but how you responded and what has happened since then?
I will share it all in the most respectful way, because I only have respect and beautifulness, gratitude for that season of what it did, not only for me and my family, but we built homes for thousands of orphans overseas. We gifted our first home, our actual physical home, to a family who needed one. I mean, when I look at the journey of 20 years, I'm just like, I'm so blessed by it. So the story goes on July 15th, a day I'll never forget. It was 2 weeks before our 20th wedding anniversary. We get called for a surprise leadership call, and there's no surprise leadership calls in our business. We're all like, what is going on? Get the pit in the stomach. And it's an attorney on the screen, and they are telling us that the business that we built, 99.9% of it would be taken away because our sales teams were going away. Therefore, we would just be paid as an affiliate. And I will tell you, in that moment of time, I just kind of like sat, I was like, okay, what does all of this mean? What do you do? Like, that's just like where my brain goes as a leader. And here's the thing, like I always look at it in situations like that, what if? We can think about all the what ifs. I'm not starting over. I'm starting with experience. I built an incredible name, an incredible network. That's why, as you train people, everyone should develop a personal brand.
Amen.
In 2025, it is not a choice. It is absolutely a mandate. So, I want to just say two things, because you mentioned the spiritual side, then I'm going to go right to the practical side of the story. Was in that moment, I had actually remembered back to a word at church I got in January, exactly 6 months prior. And it was my pastor's mentor. And he calls me out. I posted this on my social media. So
I have chills.
Verbatim. And he says, girl with the sparkly shoes. He didn't know me. He said, the great betrayal is coming. Okay. If you know me, I wear sparkly tennis shoes.
Yes. What the sparkles.
Betrayal is coming. And he said, when it comes, God is going to heal it. He said, nothing is out of order. Nothing is out of place. You've done nothing wrong. And he said, but the thing you thought would be forever, God is going to change the trajectory. And I'm like, what does that mean? Keep in mind, like, this is a word of something to come. I had no idea. And he said, suddenly people will come to you and say, how much to sell this or do this? He said, but in 18 months, it'll make up for the past 3 years. Now, I'm like, who's going to betray me? I'm looking at my friends next to me. I'm looking at my husband. Like, I'm like, what's happening? I took that word away because I was like, I don't like the sound of that. Okay. Yeah. So the day that happened, I'm laying in bed and I hear, be reminded of my promise. So I pull up and I recorded it. I posted it on social media. I recorded it. I listened to it verbatim. It's every single thing that I'm walking through. So in that moment, I knew I have to forgive. I'm not going to fall into the path of betrayal. And you know what? I'm going to build it bigger before than I did the first time. Yeah. And so I literally sat for 2 seconds and go, what do I want to do next? What do I want to do? Now, I called my friends at DSA, DSN, and one of my buddies here was like, hey, you could go corporate. You could do consulting. You could like double down on your coaching program. You could start your own company. I'll introduce you to all the people. I had probably, no joke, Dr. Kimberly Cass, my husband, he's in the other room, 400 offers of all these different things. My phone going crazy. My friend Ruth goes, it was like you were up for a bidding war. It would be like a startup, right? It's like all these people want you and all these things. And so it was a lot. But I'm telling you, it took me a split second to say, of course I want to do this again. Wow. Where else? And what other business model can you literally become profitable right away? Mm-hmm. And when you have the potential to live how we live, to give how we give with like literally little to no investment. Mm-hmm. I'm like, of course I want to do it again. It just becomes a question of where. So how did we end up finding this company that we're both a part of and pioneering a brand new movement that we call Ageless? In the midst of all of these calls, I wasn't even thinking about the company. It wasn't really on my radar. The first person I called was my mentor. Her name is Lori Bush. And Lori, I'm writing something down that I want to remember to tell you later, but Lori was like, Sarah, do you know somebody by the name of Roger Barnett? And I'm like, no, who's that? She goes, his family owns Burberry, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, telling me all the stories about him. And she's like, I'm about to, and by the way, she was like, I've got 400 people calling my phone. Like my phone is blowing up. And she's like, you're the only call I took. And so she said, I am pulling up to his house right now. This is when the attorney called. When the attorney called. Listen, I believe God orders our steps. I believe he puts us in the right place at the right time. We don't have to worry about anything because when man moves the cheese, God shows up with the charcuterie board, right? Yes. Like God's favor follows me wherever I go.
Yes.
About a calling. So she's like, I'm pulling up to have lunch with him right now. When I call you, pick up the phone. Now, Lori Bush has overseen $2 billion movements in our industry. So that's not just luck. When you do that, she was the founding CEO of the first company where we built the fastest growing $1 billion company. Most companies don't get there. That's what they call a unicorn company. To do it in under 5 years, it's unheard of. We make the only ones who have done it, to be honest. Yeah. She did it twice. So I'm going, if ever there's somebody that I'm going to listen to, it is going to be her because I completely trust her judgment and her wisdom. So I get on the phone with Roger. My team and I, over the course of a few weeks, do a series of interviews. I wanted them to know everything that was out there. I didn't want to make decisions for people. So we listened to the startups. That was too risky for us. I mean, 20 years ago, my priorities would have been different. I'm like, I'm not going to build it to crash and burn again. 95% of fail, all the way to more established companies. Interestingly, there was only one, and these are like the superstars of our industry. There was only one that 100% of us were aligned, and that was our company, Shafley. And we partnered with them, pioneered a brand new movement called Ageless. We are attracting the best in talent like yourself, all the top leaders all across the profession who are choosing to be here. They're not coming here with teens. They're not, coming here for hype. They're coming for something that really has that history and heritage, but the heart of a startup. And what has been so amazing to see is this established multi-billion-dollar company now growing in double digits domestically, expanding globally, the fastest growing company of its size and scale in our space. A startup can say I grew in double digits because I went from 0 to 99. But you got 68 some odd years later, after doing tens of billions of dollars of sales, that is a company who innovates. It cares about their field. They are investing. They have the right technology. And for us as a team of leaders, the right systems. And now, we've seen what you're saying. It's month over month growth, getting right to enter into a major phase of momentum, which when you can experience that, there is nothing like it.
Yeah, because you've experienced it, So thank you for sharing that. And that's so exciting. And now I've heard you say it, but now that I've heard it a few times, your mentor, Lori, and everything, it all makes sense. I think another really cool thing is that your leaders went out, boots on the ground, to see what was out there, and they unanimously came to the decision to be with Shaklee. I think that speaks volume. It's just seeing all of this proof come together of the edification of this company. And I'm so grateful to be here every day. I'm just like, it's, you know what it is, you guys, I have obviously been in other companies and I've never felt at home or had peace knowing that I'm going to be here for the long run. I earned the incentive trip somehow magically the last 2 weeks of December. It's a year long. Yeah, it's a year to qualify. So if you're on our team, you can hit it. And I had a couple weeks. So I'm sitting there and this gentleman interrupted us. Scott and I were having dinner and he said, "Oh, are you guys here with Shaklee?" He goes, "Yeah, my wife, she's been bringing me to these trips for 50 years.
Wow.
We're just chilling, and I'm just like, hashtag goals. You know what I'm saying?" And because you run a coaching, you have coaching as well. What I really love about this is that everything that I put into this, I'm going to reap the rewards for years, if not decades to come. And you guys know I love coaching and love my company and my students. It's just different when you're building multiple streams. I think it's such a smart thing for everybody to add in a wellness business as a stream of income because it goes with everybody's brands. I mean, think about it. Who doesn't really, to function and win at anything? You have to be optimized with your health and your wellness. And like you said, with the ageless movement, and we'll touch on that in a second. But one thing I want to mention, because you've been in the industry so long and I want your words of wisdom.
Yeah.
There are a lot of shiny objects on social media, and we are in an epidemic of people bouncing around. And it breaks my heart because, things were easy during the pandemic and a lot of people didn't know what it was like before that or after. And they're kind of going, "Oh, it just seems harder now." And I think this is just the way you build business now, is that it takes longer. You have to build relationships, plant the seeds. What would you say to those that find themselves bouncing around? What encouragement can you give them to just stay and stay planted and give that business, whether it's, Shaklee or whatever it is that they're doing, to give it the time it needs to actually grow and flourish? How has that paid off for you to really stay in one spot?
Whoa. I have to interrupt this episode to tell you something so exciting that I've been working on behind the scenes to set you up for success this year. And that is the ultimate content Trello board collection. So inside of this collection, I've created 3 brand new Trello boards. You're going to get the mega social media planner so you can plan all of your social media content in one place. You're also going to get the board that's full of content ideas that monetize all kinds of different niches and industries. And finally, you're going to get the social media content bank. When you go to create content, you need a place to draw from to pull that content out so you can quickly create and keep on moving. So look below this video for this gift for you so you can totally crush it this year.
One of my mentors is Donna Johnson. She's been in her company Arbonne for over 40 years. And I've watched her on the highs and lows of business and in life, but also the legacy. I mean, the extreme legacy that she has, not only for her family, but for all the orphans that she helps overseas and all the orphanages they've built, et cetera. And she said, "Sarah, I know handfuls of people who would be millionaires today if they simply didn't quit." So I just encourage people, stick with one, build it straight to the top. Now, there is something different that I will say. And by the way, I just want you to hear this. If you look at the growth chart of Apple, right? Every business, no company stays in momentum forever. No business goes month over month growth forever. No leader is immune to this. So you're going to have ups and downs, challenges, and in achievements. However, if you are in a business that is the Titanic and it is doing this, I'm going to tell you, there's also one thing I will say. I am the most loyal person you ever meet. I've never, I don't break up friendships, relationships, that's part of the reason why I chose this business, by the way, because I was like, if I'm going to put my name and my network on something, I got one shot to do this. Credibility, integrity is important to me. But I will also say this. When your company is in month-over-month decline and it's been going on for a period of years, at some point you also have to look at and be honest and say, is this the best decision financially for me and my family? Because I will tell you this, loyalty can cost you too. I know that top leaders, you feel like you've got the diamond handcuffs, whatever. And again, I'm not telling you to leave your business when there's a down month, because there will be down months in my business. Every single business here, I don't care what business you're in, promise you are not immune to it. If you read this book, it's called Fields Renewal for Leaders by Brett Blake. He says no company is immune to it. But in that place of just constant decline month over month, year over year, right? If we had a friend who was like, I own a t-shirt business and this is what's happening to my business, you'd probably say to the friend, what are you doing? What plans are you putting in place? Because here's the thing, we have seen companies go affiliate. We have seen companies close. But I will tell you this, Dr. Kimberly, it's been amazing to watch. When Beautycon changed their model, big core of their top leaders came to Shackley. When Rodan and Fields changed their model, all of the top leaders came to Shackley. When Beachbody changed their model, their high integrity, high impact, many of their top leaders came to Shackley. Now, same is true with Modere. And that is why I think a lot of people are choosing here, because, when you pick a company, because you mentioned people going here, there, and everywhere, going for the bright, shiny object. What you want to do is look for a company that has the right ingredients for a legacy. So for me, I only have interest to build it one time. And like you said, to be on the trip with my husband, for decades. And it's this is a great, that's what I want, right? And so I think there's a few things to look for is who you're partnering with corporately, right? Is the owner committed to the model? Is there private equity? These companies that made these changes recently, there's private equity and they're full of debt. This is a debt-free company. There is no private equity. It's privately owned. And are they committed to the model? Our owner trademarked community marketing. That is all. We are redefining direct sales through community marketing. Next thing is the product. And what you said was powerful. Look for a wellness company. That's not a random statement, friends. I want you to understand that is rooted in facts. So historically, the companies that continue to grow are in the wellness category. Now, when you sell wellness and skincare, which we do, you can actually sell three times more, which is really powerful. But you have to say, is this product a fad? I mean, I'm watching people go to weight loss companies. I'm like, there aren't weight loss companies that build to $1 billion. Why? Because it's always the next thing. Now we've got the skinny shot. Now we've got this. Now we've got that. And so again, eventually you end up really struggling when the next thing comes in. So you want products that aren't a fad, that are cool to sell themselves. For us, isn't it cool to offer non-toxic solutions? We've got home care, body care, skin care, nutrition. So it's we have a constant portfolio that is continuing to innovate too, but that it takes less people to make more money because we sell more. Then I think a few other things, just 2 other things, is a pay plan that's modernized. I looked and I'm like, this is not just about me winning. If I want a plan that rewards sellers and builders. So sellers, we pay out the highest, up to 40% plus bonuses called Star Clubs. You get bonuses to sell. You can promote to leadership by selling. So I love that. It's not about tooting around the leaders who are recruiting. It's everybody has a place to win. And then we have incredible rank up bonuses too for those who want to build a business, up to $92,000. And then the last thing is too, I think it's not just who you partner with in a company. I think it's a team. And so our team and, your team, the Heritage Club, it has been amazing to see all of these incredible industry leaders and top talent come together and say, let's create the systems. Let's lift the load. We've got the playbook literally written, a daily duplication system. So we make it easy for people, even if they come in with no industry experience, no sales experience. It's about helping the everyday person win.
Yes, absolutely. I love that so much. Yeah. And for those of you that have maybe done network marketing or direct sales before and struggled, we have to learn and be resourceful, but also we need to be set up for success. And this is the easiest barrier of entry to come into. So a lot of people come in and call it the gateway drug of entrepreneurship. They don't really know what they're doing. It is important to have a playbook, to have tools to step into things. And the other thing, and you do a lot of this as well, is I love event to event marketing, where the leadership team, we're hosting a summer slim down tonight. The leadership team is hosting events that everyone gets to invite to, putting our resources together to bring people out for these events. So that way there's always fun, value-based things that we're putting out there where really we're able to present and share and sell in a way that is social, that feels really good to people. And we have the skincare soiree on Monday.
Yes, I'm so excited for that.
So I want to touch base on the products real quick to wrap up, because I know you have to go. So do me a favor, you guys, in the comments, if you want to look at the products, you're like, I just want to see what y'all have, look at the products, just put clean in the comments and I'll send that over. And if somebody shared this with you, because I've invited others to check this out, just get back with whoever shared it with you and just say, hey, I'm interested in what Kimberly and Sarah are saying. And then if you'd like to look at the business model, you're like, I want to come partner with you guys. I want to be mentored by you. I'm going to learn. Just put heritage in the club or in the comments, or ask the person who invited you. They can tell you more. So tell us why the products were just like slam dunk. You couldn't look away. You were just like, not only is the leadership and the comp plan and all the things, but for me, because I have PhDs in natural health and holistic nutrition, once I saw the ingredients and the products and the clinical studies, I literally felt like a kid in Christmas time. So can you share your perspective on it?
When you know better, you do better. So I was responsible for leading the #1 prestigious clinical skincare brands. And we started to slow down and sales started to stall and people were asking why. And was it a marketing thing? And nope, it turns out that today's consumer cares not only what they put on their body, but what goes in their body. I had my own personal health battle and I was reading this PubMed study and it talks about how removing parabens and phthalates actually helped to turn off the breast cancer gene in as little as 28 days. And I started to do a lot of research and I'm like, okay, so for me to find something that is clinically proven and clean for my skincare and body care, and I just want to hone in on that and then we'll go to nutrition and home. So for the skin and body care, to be able to say, it is clinically proven. By the way, we're the most clinically proven wellness brand, clinically proven to take the age index down by a decade. What does that mean? We guarantee your skin will look 10 years younger or your money back. We have an empty bottle guarantee. It changes the width and depth of a wrinkle. It changes the fine lines. It changes pore size. It changes skin texture and tone. I mean, it's powerful. They're not only clinically proven, but clean. Not just removing parabens and phthalates, removing over 2,500 questionable chemicals and ingredients. If you think skincare matters, ladies, think about this. You put a hormone cream on, we know what goes in our bloodstream. It changes our hormones. It absolutely matters what you put on your body. So when you see 2,500 questionable chemicals, ingredients, this puts us in a place where we are EWG verified, which means this is the highest standard of safety. So non-toxic skincare that actually works. You don't have to compromise in order to get clinical results. Okay. That's the truth. Then by the way, our peptide pens, those are amazing. Our little no tox bombs. If you want to break up with Botox and have a safe alternative to eating, make sure that you commented her chat and you get the info on those. Okay. Then the other thing is nutrition. I love, and I know this is one of the things you talked about too when we did our event together, was this isn't just, clean nutrition. This isn't just green labeling. So if you research Shaklee Beyond Organic, you can Google it. It talks about how not only is it clean, but it screens for harmful chemicals and contaminants before it reaches a consumer. Really important for things like green tea, protein. It recently did a protein study. Clean proteins, 75% of them had lead.
Oh my gosh.
Because it is screened before it reaches the consumer. So truly clean, customized nutrition. And last, clean home. These were actually products that were formulated for the White House. I use them. By the way, they're so much less expensive than traditional cleaning supplies. They do the job better than the toxic chemicals and they cost a lot less. So again, it doesn't have to be expensive to do this. I will say the best way to get them at a great price is also by joining as an ambassador too, but I have been blown away by the results.
Yeah, same. I love how you share just the facts, it just comes down to facts. And, as you guys can see, what happens is when you have that customer, the retention is there. If you have a product that isn't consumable, or even, their weight loss plan or whatever it is, maybe 1 month they're like, it's just an extra expense. But what we're finding is 1 month it's their serum and their moisturizer and, maybe their protein powder. And the next month it's their clean living products for their home and their laundry detergent. So our average orders are bigger. But what's happening is we have the retention. And that's how you build true residual income, is a company that's built on the customers, not the distributors. It's built on the customers and that longevity. And from a business standpoint, that's why this was just a no-brainer, in addition to working with you and Emily. So thank you so much, Sarah, for taking the time out of your day to do this and share with our audience. And you guys, you have an opportunity to work with Sarah as well, because we do. We roll up right into her team and get mentorship from her and her other leaders. So thank you, Sarah.
Yes, it's an honor to work with you and to be seeing the incredible growth that's happening here in Heritage Club. It's incredible. Appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, guys. If you have any questions, reach out. We'll see you next time. As you can see, she is a mogul, you guys. She's a legend. I'm so glad that you took the time to watch this, to learn from her. And make sure you follow Sarah on social media. She's incredible. And also reach out if you'd love to find out more about partnering with us. I would love to talk to you about that as well. If this was helpful, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any episodes, and also take a screenshot, throw it in your stories, and tag me at the Gold Digger Girl. I'd love to give you a shout out for doing that. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, get lit in your business and set your soul on fire. We'll see you soon.